Hello, people.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi,
So
everybody.
thanks for joining us yet again live for It's Business Time. It's episode 2, and I'm super psyched today to have Ivy again with me, helping me facilitate this discussion. And we are talking with Beverly Ku. Beverly Ku is a good friend of mine. I've known her since 2012. Extremely fantastic mentor and all around great gal. I can't wait for her to introduce herself. But before she does, just in case this is your first time tuning in, I'm Jaxx, and I am a professional makeup artist from New Jersey. I specialize in makeup for television and commercial and in the luxury bridal space. I partnered with Market America, Shop.com, and Motives Cosmetics back in October of 2012, and added that to my list of beauty services, added retailing, custom blending as what is right behind me to my list of beauty services. And then in 2017, I started training for the company on a national level. So that's me. Ivy, if you want to just quickly introduce yourself, and then we'll get to Beverly.
Jaxx is the best, by the way, you guys. She's everything, and she's my favorite person in the whole world.
Okay.
But I'm Ivey Ray, and I am a makeup artist in New York City who has also partnered with the company so that I can broaden my expertise to the masses. And I work in TV, film, commercial, bridal, and now I am pivoting to the digital world. So you might see me on screen somewhere near you soon.
Beverly, could you, first of all, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you kind of stepping out of your comfort zone to be live with us on Zoom.
Thanks for pushing me, Jacqueline.
Yes, I definitely did. We've been trying for a couple of years to get her to go live on Facebook, but we finally did it. Beverly, if you could please just introduce yourself and kind of let us know, we're just going to go straight into it. Introduce yourself, but also why don't you include what you used to do as a profession, right? And give us a little bit of that, like those details.
Okay, absolutely. Hi, everyone. So my name is Beverly Ku, and I live in North Jersey with 3 grown kids. They're all going to be in college this year. And I have a background in accounting. I actually graduated from NYU with an accounting degree, and I went straight into public accounting, working for, at the time, the name was Coopers & Lybrand, but since then they've merged with Price Waterhouse. So they're Price Waterhouse Coopers.
PwC, yeah.
Yeah, PwC, one of the, I guess they were two of the largest accounting firms in Manhattan. Yeah, so, but I'm a stay-at-home mom now, which is awesome, and have been raising my kids for 10 years before I got, I guess, introduced to this business where I met you, Jacqueline.
Right, right. So give me an idea. I'm glad that you brought that up. So before you were introduced to this business, you worked in the professional world, and then you decided to stay at home to raise the kids for about 10 years, you said.
Yes.
What was happening in the world at that time where you decided, okay, I have to start and want, not only just want to, but I kind of have to start creating a professional income? Just kind of give us that. I already know the story, so I'm trying not to like lead on because I've known you for so long, but if you could share with us what happened.
How long have you guys known each other now? So I know, Jaxx, you said 2012, but
yeah,
when you entered in, did you guys meet right away? Or sorry to segue out.
Yeah, right. Well, I met Beverly right away. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's been what, 8 years, right?
Yeah,
about 8 years that we've known each other.
Months. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was end of 2007, basically beginning of 2008. And it's just how funny things happen because, I had been a stay-at-home mom. My kids were like 5, 6, and 8 at the time, taking care of them at home. And like, I always thought, you know what, I wish, like, I want to do something, and I want to find something that I could be passionate about. And I even remember going to bed and saying, Jay, you know, I wish I could find something. And I was like, God, give me something, you know, show me, right, which direction I should go in. And I was actually introduced to this right around that time. And we found out almost at the same time that my husband was going to lose his job. So he had been working as an IT director for a major marketing advertising company in Manhattan. He had been with the company for many, many years, and they were outsourcing their entire IT department to India. Wow. And they announced a layoff of like over 4,000 people. And he was one of the last over that 2-year period of layoffs to leave. And 2008, you know, if you can remember what the economy was like, it was hard.
Oh yeah.
A lot of companies were downsizing, you know, closing down, all of that. Yeah. So we were in the midst of that, and you know, it was hard for him to find a job. It took him several years, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I just, you know, I got introduced to this, and skeptical at first, and I didn't know, I never owned my own business. And I think being at home with kids for many years, you know, you doubt your abilities and whether you could do this or not. And so I just had an open mind, and I was just open to learning. Yeah.
So then how, I mean, thank you for sharing all of that. How did you get introduced to Market America? Like, how did that, I actually don't remember how that happened.
It's so funny. It's a college friend of mine. So I went to NYU, and she was actually dating one of my husband's good friends. And so, you know, so they were married, you know, my husband and I were married. And so she actually had young kids. She was the one that introduced me to the opportunity. And I think, you know, the way she did it was, you know, we both had kids, and we were always curious, like, what's best for our kids in terms of health wise and, you know, eating habits. And that kind of interested me in, you know, in figuring out what she was trying to do. And then she introduced me the opportunity, and it just made sense. Mm-hmm. Hesitant, and you know, you're always afraid to try something new, but at the time I said, you know what, if I want things to change, and you know, I got to give this a shot. So.
Yeah, I think that's I feel like we're all, I mean, Ivy, I'm sure you can attest to this as well, like always before trying something new or like making a big move, right, making a huge change is scary, you know. It's really scary. I mean, I know for Ivy and I specifically, we have a similar story as far as leaving our producing world and then just starting with makeup artistry, just like almost immediately after that. And then even on top of that, to start a business, you know, to start a business like this.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. Right. That's the thing. And so if you're going to jump into something, like Jaxx and I are very similar. Like we study, we are like premier students. We look at something 1,000 times. I never want to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. So that's a huge part of what I do in my world. I just study and learn and read, and I'm sure that's what you guys have also done in your journeys, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to, right? Because if you have to, because if you don't, what could you do? you're going in circles if you're not learning and reading and trying to, you know, educate yourself and taking these trainings or whatever it is. I mean, if you're not moving forward, there's no like staying stagnant. It's either you're moving forward or you're being kind of left behind, or you're moving backwards. There's no like staying the same. That's not a thing, right? Yeah. But so Beverly, you know, I have a whole list of questions that I wanted to ask you here.
The next question you have is very personal.
Which one is this?
It
Actually,
just dives
Jaxx,
right
going
into your
back,
why. I mean,
like for
I
me,
kind of want to know.
before that, like to add on to what you guys were saying, like,
Yeah.
you know, I went from accounting, you know, in corporate America to health and nutrition, into having my own health and nutrition.
Yes.
And that's like a huge, you know,
It's
change.
a complete 180, Beverly.
Exactly, exactly.
And that was because like your kids, you wanted to kind of know what you were feeding them and how like best you could sort of nourish them. Is that it? Or
yeah,
did you get healthier too when you were studying how to raise your kids?
absolutely. Well, see, I think because, you know, this marketamericashop.com, they offer so many divisions.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, in the beginning, I wasn't sure what division I wanted to kind of major in.
Mm-hmm.
But when I learned more about the health and nutrition, it just felt right to me because, you know, my kids were younger. I always wanted to feed them. I was always feeding them fruits and vegetables, but you know, there's so much more to learn. And so that's what I gravitated towards, just because of my situation and the people around me.
So, sorry,
Sorry.
Go ahead, Ivy.
I just wondered if I'm sure you would say this anyway, but did you go back to school, or like how did you study nutrition in a business sense? Is that Jaxx what you were going to say?
I was going to say, let's go there. And you already went there.
Well, you know, that's the reason we're partners, huh?
So I think what was really helpful was the education that the company provides. So I really took advantage of it. There were so many trainings, and back then, and this was like 12 years ago, they didn't have really so much YouTube videos, or I mean, Zoom wasn't even in existence.
Right.
So I did a lot of you know, reading of books, and then I attended actual trainings where I, like, you know, I remember flying out to LA by myself because I had a particular training I wanted to go to. So I went to physical, you know, trainings to really teach myself about the health and nutrition, about, you know, how do you build a business, because I didn't have any of that in my background. So
were you gravitated toward the specific trainer? Is that why you went out to LA, for that person, or what made you go on that trip?
So actually that trip to LA was, I found that there was a division of the company where you work in health and nutrition, but you work with doctors, you work with health professionals. And so that training, I think at the time, was only being offered once or twice a year. So I wasn't going to miss it. So I flew out there to get certified in that, so that it would allow me to work with different health professionals.
And that's great. And Ivy, you're like killing it with the transitions here, because it's everything that's in my mind. I opened my mouth to say it, and you're like already halfway done saying it.
Jaxx and I are we both come from a producer background. So like, I'm putting my producer hat on right now, and it's actually making me very happy because I'm like really like getting to hone those skills and kind of know about Beverly, which is like all I want. I just want to know about
that's all I want.
It's all I want in life is to know
more about
no,
Beverly.
but for real, like that's just it. That's what I want to hear. It's like, what gravitated you toward everything? What makes you tick? Like, that's what we need to hear from you, because it's so important to understand your journey.
Yeah, I agree. And the fact that you come from, you know, an accounting professional background, then you decided to stay at home to raise the kids. Then Jay was losing his job. By the way, her husband's name is Jay. That's who Jay is.
I figured that.
Yeah. Hi, Jay. Shout out to Jay.
Is he watching
his job, right? When the economy was just like in the crapper. And then you somehow through that you were introduced to this company and this business through the health and nutritionals. And then from there, you, I guess, decided to even go a step further with your health education, right?
Yes.
Even outside of this
Yeah.
company. I mean, this company already has, so listen, we have, how many divisions do we have at this point? Is it 10 or 12?
Over 10.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have so many divisions of this company. Health and nutrition is just one of them. And obviously, you know, Beverly came into this partnership without having any experience in health and nutrition, right? So that's an interesting, the interesting thing is where her life has now taken her professionally since accounting. So if you can tell us what else you decided to do, like what this company kind of, I guess, inspired you to do in terms of health and nutrition.
So I'm all about education. And so, you know, when I started, I went to almost every training that I could possibly, you know, go to. And a couple of years later, I found out because a friend of mine actually went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. So it used to be a year-long course that you take in Manhattan, but they actually had moved to an online program. So I actually went through this one-year program, became a holistic health coach at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. But what was really amazing, I mean, it's because you want to just get to that next level. I didn't have, you know, a nutrition background. I wasn't a registered dietitian, but I wanted to, you know, just educate myself and get a certification. So that's exactly what I did. And what I was so surprised about was like almost everything, I can't say everything, but almost everything that I learned through that program, I actually already had learned through marketamericashop.com, through their training. Yeah, because a lot of times we're going to these trainings that are held by naturopathic doctors. They're held by, medical doctors. So you're learning a lot of great information. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they probably got into it the same way you did. They were just excited to understand more about the products, like from the other side. It's almost like the flip, like they've already been in medical school and stuff, and then they were like, wait, what's happening here? Whereas you kind of went the inverted way.
You're right. Right, exactly. So tell us how, before we get into the like a little bit more of a personal question, I'd love to know exactly what it is you do now. As I know you're a NutraMetrix consultant. That was the training that that Beverly had gone to the first time when she went to LA. That's what she was talking about. Give us an idea of what that means, what that allows you to do, how you're able to help, what kind of folks are you able to help, that and so on.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just one division within our company. And I had put some focus on that. But, it's more than just that. But one of the things that allows me to do is work with health professionals, whether they're medical doctors, pediatricians, just all types of doctors, and also actually allied health professionals, so chiropractors, acupuncturists, licensed massage therapists, so people who have their own practices, nutritionists, registered dietitian, and they're helping their patients. It's implementing a wellness program within their practice so that it allows them to broaden their scope of practice to offering, more things to their patients. Because a lot of times, people are going to these doctors for advice, and, you want to go the traditional way. Yes, if they need to be on medications, definitely, give them medications. But if there's something natural that they could do alongside of it, how great is that? Through change of diet, through, exercise, sleep, nutritional supplements that can greatly improve. I was all for it because I've seen a lot of people going through, health concerns and issues, and they're just going from doctor to doctor and trying to find out, what's going on.
Right.
So,
yeah. So you're kind of like Jazz to like nip it in the bud in the beginning, maybe like finding somebody that has an ailment or like some problem, and like actually making sure they go toward a level, like a place where they could potentially fix it without surgeries, like without sort of like huge level, like life-changing things. Have you seen that happen? Like, what is your experience?
I mean, it's been 12 years of experience, so I definitely have seen, you know, myself with health transformations among so many of the people, whether, you know, whether it was through me or, you know, meeting other people in this arena, where, you know, using natural remedies, they were able to, you know, to bring themselves back to good health. So if anyone, you know, can do that and not be on medications your whole life, or not, you know, have to have something obtrusive, you know, an operation occur, how great is that, right? And our bodies, and I told
that, right? Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. And our bodies are so strong, you know, we have this innate healing power, but we just have to get our bodies into good shape so that it could heal itself. And a lot of times it's just about that, what we're eating.
I love
so
that.
Cool. I do too. It's amazing. And Beverly, I've definitely wrote you like privately asking you about like nutritional help, and I've seen a difference from what you've told me to do, because literally I was just like not knowing how to even live basically. And so like I can attest personally about some of the things you've pointed me toward. So I mean, I really appreciate like all that you've studied and worked toward, and your, you know, your time and effort to understand solutions. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I love it, Ivy. You know, I think when I said I was looking for something passionate to do, you know, I love relational, you know, like getting to meet new people. And I really love helping people, because it's, you know, if you can make a difference in someone else's life, how great is that? That's like that's our whole purpose for living, you know, making a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, I'd like to transition into what may be the most personal question of the evening.
Which is what I said 5 or 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I was like, Jaxx, this is the third question. This is a pretty personal question.
Well, you know, when we do anything that's worth doing, that's worth putting any amount of effort and time and just energy into, there's always a why. Why are we doing this? You know, why are we working out why are we dropping things on the floor? Why are we eating a certain way?
Why are we on the internet right
Why
now?
are we on the internet? Why are we working so hard towards this goal, whatever that goal is? So I'd love for you to share with us, if you're willing, your, you know, quote unquote, why, about why you decided to really kind of go hard with this particular company, first of all, but also with this business, period.
Sure. No, I'll share. I think, you know, initially first, you know the answer to that. It's because we needed a source of income, because my husband had lost his job. And I did not want to have to go back into commuting into Manhattan and not being with my kids. So really, I wanted something I could do on a part-time basis, still be with my kids, but also earn a good income, and something I could be passionate about. So like, I feel that everyone should have multiple sources of income, especially through the experience that I had with when we relied solely on my husband's income. And, you know, mortgage, right? Loans, just different things, like you have bills to pay.
Multiple children.
Exactly.
I can't even imagine.
Literally.
The amount of food, and, you know, all the dance lessons, and, you know, singing lessons, whatever, like all of that. So I just feel everyone should have multiple sources of income. And I feel that, you know, many years ago, I was introduced to Robert Kiyosaki, and someone, actually, I think it was my brother-in-law, he actually told me about Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And Cash Flow Quadrant was another book, you know, I had read. And it talks about having, you know, a residual passive source of income. And that's really, you know, what I wanted. So, you know, investing in real estate and then being able to collect rent on it, that's a passive income. Right. But, you know, for average individuals, you need to invest like $5 million, into a property if you're expecting, to have $100,000 per year being able, to be generated from that. So
Right.
it's the entry is very difficult, high cost of entry. So that's really the attraction for me to this business, because it gave me the ability to build a passive source of income. And so it's, I totally believe in hard work and putting the time and effort into something, but I want that time and effort that I put in, I want it to continuously help me to generate income. And so even when I'm not putting time and effort into it, which definitely after during these 12 years, now my time is my own time.
Right.
And that income still continues to come in to my family. That's huge. That's what I love. And I feel that if someone can experience passive income, significant enough. I'm not just saying like, the 1% interest that we receive from, the bank, right?
Right.
And savings we have, that's really not enough. It's like real income that could pay bills and mortgages and college tuitions, 3 college tuitions that's going to happen this year for me. It just makes a huge difference.
Wow. Yeah.
That's so inspiring.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's pretty, it is very inspiring, honestly. And what I just can't get over the complete 180 of your life prior to being introduced to this company to now, because prior, accountant, commuting in and out of the city at a very one of the top firms that you can be with at the time. Then you're a stay-at-home mom for about give or take 10 years. Jay loses his job because of the economy in the crapper, and then you start this business, become first of all, you work it until you're able to actually have a passive. It's like you get a real income. Like, I know you get a real income. Like, we don't need to talk about it, it's fine. But like, I know that you get a real income from this business. And not only that, I mean, that's fantastic, but you're now in a completely different professional field than where you started years ago. You're a holistic health coach, you're a NutraMetrix consultant, and you own your own business that is offering you passive income. So, I mean, I just want to just kind of nail that passive income home, just for the people who are watching and they're just a little confused as to what that actually means. I know Beverly touched on it, but passive or residual income is when you're making money when you're sleeping, basically. That's basically, you're sleeping and money's still coming in.
Because of the time and effort you've put in.
Because of the time, exactly, Ivy. Because of the time and the effort that you've already put into building the business, the passive income is what continues to pay you even if you're sleeping. And that is what Beverly has achieved and is continuing to achieve, not only for herself, but also I know it's a willable asset. And I know she has 3 children, or kids. I mean, people, human adults, young adults. They're not kids. They're not.
You
kids.
made a live.
You have created 3 lives. 3 college-age lives. But it's a willable asset, and you're able to, pass that passive income
to my kids,
on to your children.
Yeah.
To your young adults, to your adults, to your full-blown adults.
Exactly. And this is why I think in the beginning, I didn't know all this really, like that it was a willable, transferable asset, that, it's true passive income. Mm-hmm. Now that I've lived it for 12 years and I've gotten paid every single week, it's like amazing. Mm-hmm. But I think, for most of us, I mean, I was brought up, go to school, study hard. I got straight A's, I went to college, did well in college, got a great job. And then I remember so well my first year at Cooper's and Library, like I was put on a litigation job, and a whole slew of us were on this job. We were working from like 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. for about like 2 months, every single day. Even sometimes we had to come in on weekends. You know, the car service would take us home.
Beverly, that's TV production hours.
Oh, really?
14-hour days.
Oh my God. Just
Do I
coming
know
out
her
of
anymore?
college.
No, I don't.
Damn, Beverly, you may as well be in TV production.
I was not, and I remember like going home so late at night thinking, oh my God, is this what my life is going to be like? You know, just going back and forth to and from your job every single day. And it's like, you know, and I'm not against jobs. I mean, all three of my kids are going to college. I want them to have the full experience, but and you know, this is another thing that this opportunity has allowed me. It's really educated me financially, but I'm able to pass that education on to my three kids. Mm-hmm. And so I tell them, you know, do what you're passionate about. Go out there, get a job, make money or whatever, but have multiple streams of income. You know,
and that also ties into like savings, and also like the education that you're giving. You know, you're giving them multiple education streams too. Not even just like, not even financial streams, but education. Like, we need to learn about how to do this. We need to learn how to save. Like, when you're in your 20s, do we think about that? Absolutely not. So like, you sort of know that the exact sort of, you know, the value that you can have from saving. And so that's very powerful.
I'm very grateful.
Since we don't, you know, I mean, at least I can speak for my school district growing up in Montvale, New Jersey. We didn't have any classes that I was privy to, maybe because I was not in the smart classes, I don't know, but we didn't have any financial classes. We had
your typical on Long Island,
you know, levels that everybody has to take. Okay, great. But there were no actual, this is how finance works. This is how, you know, these are how the banks work. This is how credit works. This is how all of these things. We didn't learn any of that. We had to hopefully be taught about it from our parents, who only probably knew it through their own life experiences, not that they were taught it. Mm-hmm. You know, nobody taught them necessarily in school. It would have been kind of like the luck of the draw of who your parents were, or who you had around you to be able to offer you that kind of knowledge when you were young. Now, I mean, hopefully at some point schools smarten up and they actually teach about that I don't even know about elementary school, but at some point as they go through the high school experience, because, oh my God.
Well, even in high school, and not actually even in college, I don't think you can learn something like that unless you're studying finance or you're studying, you know, what is it? Science, political science, or whatever it is. Like, I don't know if it's political science. I don't know. I was like a fine art major, but anyway.
It's not political science.
Okay. But like, I didn't know anything about that either when I was in high school or college or anything, because I was just like drawing and painting. But it's just crazy. And like, oh, well, we only have 10 more minutes. So can I segue into a question?
Sure.
So Beverly, I would love to know, sorry, that was a really bumpy segue. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
That was not.
We made it. It's okay. We made it through. We made it. We're there. We're already on the other side.
I did just want to bring up the topic of teamwork, and it does sort of tie in with like your kids and how you're kind of like you're you know, studying them, learning them about sort of, you know, experience stuff. But the teamwork aspect of this company you should speak to that, or I can speak to it, but I'd love to touch upon that part of things.
Yeah, I mean, what's amazing is that even though you know, how I got connected to you guys, right? It's, you know, I don't know if people know how I, you know, met you, Jaxx. It's, you know, through actually one of the health professionals that I was working with NutraMetrix, with the health and nutrition program. The dentist actually introduced me to Jaxx.
Yes.
you know, who's a makeup artist, right?
Wait, can we just quickly talk about how I met Rick? Because,
Yes.
do you remember the story, Beverly? Because it was
Sephora, right?
So I was,
I've heard this story, but I want to hear it again because
it
it's
just
hilarious.
tells me so much because Rick was so funny. Like he makes me laugh so much. So oh, I miss Rick and Lydia. They live in upstate New York now.
I'm gonna see them this weekend.
You are? Oh,
Yes.
I'm so jealous.
Saturday night, I think.
Oh my God, will you FaceTime me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right, anyway, so I was working at Sephora in the West Nyack Mall in Nyack, New York, the Palisades Mall.
I love Nyack. It's such a cute little town.
So cute. So I was at Sephora just doing like a makeover or whatever I was supposed to be doing. And I noticed, you know how you can like feel people staring at you?
Wasn't he like hiding in the shadows or something?
He was lurking a little bit. Like he was just but not
I remember the story.
Not like in a creepy, like I'm scared for my safety way. But also not like that. No, just kidding.
Was he
it wasn't
like
that at all? It wasn't like that at all. So I'm doing a makeover and I feel someone staring at me. And then like I noticed just like in my peripheral vision, I noticed this guy, you know, walking around and then I don't see him anymore. And then I'm in the back area where the skincare is and I'm just doing whatever I'm doing back there. And then I turn around and he's right he's right in front of me and he's like, oh, hi. I just wanted you to know that I noticed you doing your makeover before. And I just wanted to compliment you on how you were educating the client on how you were doing things as you were doing them. And just, he was giving me these compliments of things that I didn't even realize I was doing, but looking back at that time, I absolutely, like, that's just how I do makeup. I usually kind of teach as I'm going.
You explain it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thanked him for that. And he said that his wife was partnered with, I forgot the exact words that he said, this was so long ago at this point, but he wanted to introduce me to his wife, Lydia, who had some sort of partnership or was affiliated with or whatever with a makeup line and cosmetics line. And he thinks that, you know, it would be a nice like networking kind of connection. And it was. And so he gave me his card. I think I gave him my email address or something. And Lydia and I ended up connecting shortly after that. And we got to know each other. And Lydia was introducing me to people and helping me with going to trainings and giving me some guidance. And then eventually I was like, yeah, hell yeah, you know, let's do this. I remember going to a few of the business presentations that were conducted at the time in hotels, in like hotel conference rooms. And I had gone to a few of them. The third one I dragged Spez, my husband, to, and he was like, he had just gone home from a long day of commuting in from Manhattan. He was not into it. And I bribed him by ordering him a double Johnny Walker Black at the bar.
To meet Lydia or to meet Rick?
No, to just like see the business presentation.
Oh, because it was at a hotel.
Yeah, at the hotel. He came with me the third time I saw the business plan. And so he was with me with his scotch, like, you know, grumble, like whatever. And then after the speaker was finished, I'll never forget this because I couldn't believe this is what he said based on his aggravation for being there and frustration. He leaned over and he was like, okay, this makes sense. I just don't understand why everyone isn't doing it. And when he said that, I was like, awesome. First of all, I was going to partner with the company regardless of what he said, but the fact that he had such a great attitude about it and like he really received the information in the right way.
And you got affirmation.
Yes.
You know,
And it was a great way to see that he was supportive of it and all that. And then I remember I was so excited. It was like 9:30 at night or 9 at night at that point. And I go over to Lydia and I'm like, Lydia, let's do this. Can we do this right now? Like, can I start my business right now? And she goes, no, go to bed. We're going to sleep. Don't like, she wasn't like pouncing on me, like, cause you know, it's not like one of those things, whatever that means to people. But she was just like, no, don't worry. Okay, I'm glad. Like her, like she was very happy about it, and congratulatory. But she was like, no, it's 9 p.m.
It was like the humanized. She was humanizing it, like, no,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it
this is
wasn't
the
like a
business you're
starting
gonna be. This is like a long term. It's not
Yes,
like
exactly.
2 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't something that you have to like get in quick or
No.
else, whatever. Like this, it's not that feeling. It's not that in reality also. But that was my story, and it all started with Rick like lurking in.
And see, that's what's so great, because like, focus is in health and nutrition, but then, I could partner up with you, both of you as makeup artists.
Right.
And it's so great. Back to the teamwork aspect of it is that, I had, you came to me, I remember, Ivy, and that's kind of how we got to establish a better relationship, was that you had a question about those supplements. And I don't know, how much you want to share of exactly what that question was.
Well, it's funny because I remember Jaxx, I don't even think she told me to speak to you directly. She just said, like, take nutrition classes. Like, I'll just tell you that. Take nutrition classes. Like, take all these classes. Like, it'll learn you. And I was like, okay.
It'll learn you.
It'll learn you. And so I did. But Beverly, I think I took your nutrition class. I don't remember how I came to it, but I think you posted in a group or on some sort of something. And I was like, okay, I'm taking Beverly's class. Had no idea about anything about supplements. And I took your class. I think it was like 2 hours or something. I don't know how long they are, but I stayed through the whole thing. I was asking you questions in the comments, and you were answering me. And then I said, okay, I feel comfortable to ask Beverly like a secret question. And so about my body. And so I offline asked you, or well, it was online, but I felt comfortable because I watched your class, and I noticed that you just knew what you were talking about. It's not like I'm stupid and I'm just like, oh, well, like somebody's going to tell me something. Like, I could trust that you would say the correct thing to me because of who you are. Right. And so when you told me what to do, I purchased the certain products that you said would help me, and literally it like, I don't want to say it changed my life, but like,
I got a text from her the second something happened.
Okay, it has to do with going to the bathroom.
You guys are so funny, because I think maybe because I'm in the health and nutrition, we talk about it all the time.
Well
we
then.
talk about,
well then.
poop all the time, so it's not even a big deal for us. But for you guys are like, oh, we're not sure.
Well, yeah, it's like funny that way. Like, you can talk to us about like pore size or like some weird crap like that if you want, but like, we don't know what we can say. But I think that really helped sort of understand the idea of teamwork, that I could reach out to you, that I wasn't bothering you, and that you have really worked very hard to learn this information on your own, and that's why you're excited to share it. And then my success would be your success, would be Jack's success. Like, that's sort of the idea of teamwork that didn't really occur to me until I started really reaching out and learning more about like the different divisions. So yeah, it's been so helpful. And I mean, I have my own experience of a success story in terms of teamwork. The other day I got what happened, Jaxx? I can't even remember now.
So Ivy has started offering over the last couple months these amazing virtual services for like virtual beauty services, basically. And she needed help with something, and I was with her for about almost 2 hours on the phone, helping her craft some marketing materials or update some marketing materials that she had already created to make it reflect what she is now offering. And it was just like a whole thing. We were on the phone for 2 hours basically. And that's,
Right.
and then she ended up having a lot of success with one of her clients, based on, you know, what we had collaborated on. And I was so happy for her. That was so good.
I don't think that I would ever.
That was a win. That was a win.
Yeah, like I don't know if I'd feel comfortable if I didn't have like someone like Jaxx, like, hey, can you help me? Because they're like not like, it's like an investment in other people's success. It's like that thing, Beverly, that you said that you want to help people.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm about. That's what Jaxx is about. And since we've met, we've realized that we're the same kind of person. We're like, we want to help people and we want to make sure that people are successful, so that it's a teamwork, it's a collaboration, it's that's like what this is about.
Yeah, and
also,
it
makes it special.
Just to expand on that though too, the company happens to be set up perfectly for people like us to do that, because if you are partnered with people, your success helps their success and vice versa. It's not because you're underneath somebody, the person at the top makes everything. That's not how it works in our company, because we're not set up like, you know, quote unquote one of those things, or however, whatever you want to say. So our, you know, if you're not familiar with our marketing and compensation plan, and really our business structure as a whole, then you have no idea what it's about, because it's literally the only company that is structured this way, period. So there's no real comparison to another company.
Exactly.
But I also just wanted to, you know, to bring up the fact that the last few years I've been the key makeup artist on a television show for the ID network that has me traveling for a week or so, sometimes 2 weeks, depending, at a time, where my mentoring, you know, my newer business partners that come on board with our company, ends up being maybe a little bit on the challenging side for me to coordinate, since when I'm working long hours, and then you know, I'm with the crew the rest of the evening, and it's just, you know, it's hard to schedule things, especially if you're in different time zones. So I've leaned so heavily, I feel, on Beverly the last few years, because whenever I'm unable to schedule a call with one of my partners who has like a bunch of questions, or you know, something else that's business related within our company that I can't do because I'm traveling, if I just say the word to Beverly, because, you know, it's all about teamwork here, she takes care of it for me. She steps in. She's like, no problem. I'll reach out to them. I'll make sure, blah, blah, blah. I'll take care of it, yada, yada, yada. And then she'll do that. She'll just do it. She'll do it for me.
You know what? It's because that's how, you know, it was brought down to me. I had people that just came and helped me, and I feel like we should pay it forward. And then also, like you said, the way the company structure is, if I could help you be successful, Jaxx, and it helps me, why would I not help you?
Right.
Ivy, why would I not help you?
I don't think that this would be for you if you didn't want to do that.
Right.
It's about how you want, it's your personality as well. Because if you don't have that part of it in you, this is not for you, I don't think.
Yeah.
I've met so many great people. It's because like this does attract really good people.
It attracts a very particular personality, and then also ends up weeding out another type of personality eventually, right? Like it's actually truly amazing how that ends up happening. The people who stick around, right, which we have such a large, what's the term I'm looking for, Beverly, when people actually are staying with a company for a very long time? What's retention?
Retention
We
rate.
have a very high retention rate. And it ends up being just people that want to help people. That's it.
And also because they love the products.
Right. Yeah. Well, exactly.
You love the products, and you could, you know, get it for a better price. right? As a
Yeah.
business owner, you want to stay.
And all the tax write-offs, right? Accountant Beverly?
Yes, absolutely.
I know.
love
I feel like
tax
we need to
write-off.
have like a part 2 of this conversation because there's so much more we can go into
I know. Maybe
about how
can.
great
Maybe we can
everything is.
time.
But yeah, I mean, it was so cool. I would love to know more about NutraMetrix too, Beverly. So maybe you could either, maybe we could start that on part 2 or hear about like your work within that division. That'd be so cool to hear.
Absolutely, sure. I'd love to share.
Before we pop off, I'm trying to see if we have any questions, or Ivy, are you on your laptop right now? Can you see if there are any questions?
So yes, Nasa has said she says reaching out has always been a struggle for me and she's working on it. I think Nasa, like, start today, like reach out, ask, like list out your questions and start asking, because you'll find that the reward comes right back to you. You'll know more than you did before.
Mm-hmm.
Write that on a t-shirt.
Nasa, you know you're my person, so like, what the hell? You know, reach out to me anytime. I'll be so excited to talk to you. And also we can then collectively make fun of each other for buying all the things and peer pressuring each other into buying more things, which is pretty much what our relationship is.
And it's not bothering because it is actually affecting and helping in the best way. So the other thing my cutie said, I feel like this business allows people to shine as a person. I'm not connected to Jaxx, and she has offered wisdom and advice just because she wants to help.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked yesterday.
That's awesome.
And you know what, I can say the same thing if you're in this, you know, if you have a question in terms of what I know, I'm happy to give my feedback too, because I love helping people, and I wouldn't even, you know, I'd do it anyway. I shouldn't say that, but you know, that's just the way I am. So
are there any other questions that you can find?
Yeah, Veronica just says yes, and thank you so much. And
I think she asked, when is my next health training?
Oh, yes, yeah.
I'm actually, Veronica, doing a health seminar through Zoom online on Friday. Not this Friday. Oh wait, yeah, the 17th. The 17th is next Friday, right?
The 17th.
Yes.
Yeah, I've lost track of days.
Honestly, it still feels like March for me. So I get it.
So,
should we bring this to a close with Mr. Frosty?
Sure. Why wouldn't we? So then I don't have a next date set in stone yet for our next interview, but I do have an interview set up as far as the person. So we will have that announced at some point early next week, which I'm psyched about. And then Beverly, in the future, I'd love to have you on again if you are open to that.
Yes.
And kind of peer pressure you into being live again on Facebook.
You wouldn't have to pressure me. I mean, this felt so good, like natural and fun. You made it a lot of fun. So it's nothing like I thought, you know, being the first time live on Facebook.
Yes, I'm so glad.
This is the first time? I can't even believe that. What?
Isn't that amazing? Thank you so much, Beverly.
Thank you, Beverly.
So
Thanks for having me on.
You're the best. We love you. Ivy, thank you so much for being my partner in crime as always.
Of course. You know, I'm really busy, but it was great to be here today. I took some time out of my schedule. So.
Really busy being home.
Yes.
But your busy schedule masking.
Well, self-care. That's an important part.
Very important.
All right, thanks guys so
now.
much. Please, if you have any questions about anything we've talked about, please go ahead and reach out to one of us. If you have somebody that you are friends with or somehow connected to socially, and you know that they are partnered or affiliated with this company, marketamericashop.com, please go ahead and reach out to them specifically. But if you just kind of happened upon this video, you know, feel free to reach out to any of us and we can help direct you in any kind of direction that you're maybe looking to go in. I don't know. But until next time, Thanks for joining us on It's Business Time episode.
Thanks, Jax. Thanks, it's
Thank you,
business time.
ladies.
And then we'll see you next week. Bye.
Peace.